Should have done the Smosh shut up, didn't I? Anyway, intro time. James! Welcome to the Sunday Movie Marathon!
No, I wish you had done the Smosh thing, actually.
Oh, I gave up. I was like, oh no, I could do that with the whole thing. Oh man. I'm Max.
I'm Chris.
I'm Darcy.
Yeah.
But once we say our own names, so it's been weeks since we've actually ever said our names.
It's been weeks since anyone said our names.
Yeah.
Now we reaffirm them once again. We are ourselves because we have become
Evolved.
back to life in the form of a podcast we like to call the Sunday Movie Marathon. So
Sure.
in the spirit of this hallowed holiday,
Nice.
pop us in your ears, and just watch the King's coronation. And you don't have to put the sound on there. Just listen to us, and we're going to review some movies for you today.
I will just pretend to narrate over the coronation.
Don't think you're going to miss much, to be honest.
What, in the coronation?
Nah.
Nah,
Just going to stand there, get some jewels.
Apparently they
and
do
waste our taxpayers' money.
They do part of it off camera anyway, so like all the good bits are done off camera, like bits with like oils and shit. Yeah.
They miss out the fucking juicy bits. Well, they take him into a room, strip him naked, and there's just like a bunch of people in a circle around him, throwing oils and shit at him, and they're all on fire.
He has to carry an apple in his butt cheeks from one side of the room to the other.
You get that if you pay for a premium, BBC Premium. They're only on BBC,
Premium.
right?
I wouldn't even be surprised if BBC Premium was a thing.
Yeah, it's called BritBox.
Oh yeah. BritBox. How absolutely disgusting.
Woo! Gone. What's his name?
I think
you got it.
BBC is just BBC Premium because you have to pay a license fee to watch it.
Yeah,
Do you?
we all do that. We
You're
all
not
do
talking
that
about-
every year. Every year we pay for the BBC.
I was gonna say you're talking about TV license. We're actually talking about.
Yeah. We all have our TV licenses, so we were able to watch like iPlayer and that, and stream, or watch the King's speech, coronation. He'll probably give a speech
He might
as well. He'll be there.
Yeah. Or we just watched a movie instead.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't it be great if
It was actually
Colin Firth was the
instead of
king?
that
Yeah.
other guy.
I had to
would
think
be
about
good.
that for a second. I at least said Hugh Grant because they're both in that Bridget Jones movie, and I tend to think about them together as like a duo almost. Get them confused.
Yeah, they'll probably be streaming. I gotta stop saying streaming. But they'll probably be running Bridget Jones' Diary on ITV.
Yeah,
the same time.
probably. It seems quite fitting,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
So yeah, whatever you want to do, just pop this podcast on and listen to
Mm.
us as we talk over Bridget Jones' Diary or King's coronation.
I think both of them be quite fitting, like narration wise.
It is
Good work.
happening on Sunday, right?
No, it's next Saturday.
What?
It's the 6th.
Yeah, the Saturday. Day of your housewarming party.
Yeah.
Right. All
Now
right.
we've got to get cupcakes of like the king's like 30
Just
something.
pictures of the king all over their flat.
Oh, so I just completely fucked that up then, haven't I?
A little bit.
It's next week. It's not this
Yeah.
week.
No.
Well,
No.
that's the beauty of the podcast is you can play it again. So, well, you might want to save up. Oh, I'll do this over the
Oh yeah,
King's coronation.
maybe listen to 2 episodes and it will take up the whole of the coronation day.
You're going to need a few more episodes than that, my friend.
I know it's probably going to be
Take
on
up all
for
that.
like a whole weekend.
People are really looking forward to it.
I mean,
I thought it was this week because I walked here through town and I saw a bunch of Union Jack flags.
now people are just getting in there early. I had to do a bunch of marketing today that was pretty much based on the coronation, so it's been ingrained in my brain.
Yeah. It was the same with the Jubilee, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. I guess what people are just excited because they've never seen a coronation in their lifetime, which is fair enough because about 80% of the population probably haven't. But
I feel like
And
I
they're
have.
all going to see at least 1 or 2 more in the rest of their lifetime.
yeah, but this one's the first one, so that makes it more exciting.
Is it exciting?
No,
Because I feel like when you've seen one, you've seen them all. When you've seen the Jubilee or you've seen a royal wedding, you've seen everything that they could do because it's all the same.
what even happens at the Jubilee? I've never watched a Jubilee in my life. Is it just like a
They
parade?
just celebrate. It's basically a parade. They
walked
celebrate the person being there for
That's basically
however
a
long they were
coronation,
there.
isn't it? I don't know. I really
As they
don't know.
spit on the homeless people.
Yeah.
Do you know what wouldn't even surprise me?
We could have built,
They
accommodation.
burn millions of pounds in front of homeless people.
Basically, that's just basically is what they're doing.
Yeah.
They could build like accommodation for these people instead of like. Well, the Queen needed her crown, so she needed a few more jewels.
All such a waste of taxpayers' money, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really frustrated about it. It keeps me up at night thinking about all the all my hard-earned taxpayers' money going towards the coronation
Whereas
street.
I laugh because I got all of mine back and then some. I don't know how that's even possible, but that was a thing that happened at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
Because they fucked me for like a year. I was paying like 40% tax, and they were like, "You make nowhere near enough to pay 40% tax." And I was like, "That's what I've been trying to tell you for ages." And I got all of it back.
They'll take you for everything you're worth.
Yeah, I know.
Tax man, we're on to you. This whole podcast is a front for it. We're secretly bringing down the tax man. We're coming through the medium of podcasting.
Oh, the
and talking
subliminal
about
messaging.
movies and various movies.
Play this backwards.
Yeah. Then you'll know. Then you'll know. You'll know. So Chris watched a movie, but he's not going to talk about it because I told him not to. I watched a movie that I'm going to talk about that I wanted to talk about.
I'll talk about my one next week when we've got a bit more
We're on
time.
a time crunch here.
Say
even though
next
we're
week,
chatting.
next episode.
I might watch it in between that time. Probably not.
No, you won't, because you said you'd watch the movie that I watched the week before last, and you were like, "Yeah, we'll do that for the next episode." And I was like, "Okay,
Do you know what, if I knew...
I'll hold off on my review until 2 weeks from now, and we can all talk about it."
Okay, I mean, if I knew in the beginning that we wouldn't have if we wouldn't have seen it in the cinema at all, when Chris had fucked off to see Jack Garrett, I could have gone and seen it.
But
Here
that's all in the past, and this is not a podcast of what ifs. It's a podcast of what now.
Yeah.
Infinity Pool by Brandon Cronenberg. He did Possessor, which I didn't see.
I didn't like it.
Chris didn't like it. So he's definitely gonna think about some things when he watches this movie, if he ever does.
I've heard this one's a lot better from like a lot of people who didn't like Possessor, to be fair.
Yeah, it is.
That's promising, I guess.
I know I haven't seen Possessor, but it is. It's a good movie. It's really good. I'm gonna do the noble thing here and not spoil it at all. Don't know how much you know about the movie.
Not a lot. It seems very
we saw the
cryptic to
trailer,
me.
and that's about it.
Right. You sort of know like plot points, or
I guess I don't remember it, but
I feel like I did see a trailer for it, but I don't know if like I must have forgotten it because there were things in this movie that were completely like, whoa, what the fuck? What is happening here? It's a really weird movie, but I quite like that about it. It's definitely not for everyone because it's going for quite like weird existential stuff. It's definitely not a movie with like a solid plot narrative that you have to follow. It's like definitely one that's like highly metaphorical and you're supposed to like look into it. I feel like I'm doing like a terrible thing recently where I'm watching movies and I'm like, that's about what it's about. And then I'm like not looking into it at all. I'm like, yeah, Suspiria. Suspiria is about like they go to it's what it's like to be at a dance school. Yeah, Infinity Pool. Infinity Pool's about what it's like to like go on holiday and it's really fucked up to like be in a foreign country and you don't know about anything, but you feel like you can do whatever you want because you're in a different sort of land and consequences don't matter. I think that's sort of what it was about. And I think it's also about like they go to this resort. I'm gonna just minor plot point, and they go to this resort and it's like a really nice holiday resort in this really fucking horrendous country where there's like crime is rife, and you go out, there's like iron gates and barbed wire around this resort. And if they go outside of the resort, like they're like, you just don't go outside the resort because these people in this country are fucked up and they'll probably kill you. So they have to like stay in this resort, but they do go outside the resort, and it's all about like the consequences of what that entails. I forget where I was going. Anyway, you got the that's sort of what this movie is like as well. It's like you just forget what the fuck is happening, and like just a bunch of shit happens. You're like, what the hell? This is really interpretable, man. Who you got in it? Mia Goth, who we talked about last episode. Fucking fantastic,
and we'll
as
talk
always.
about later.
Yeah, we'll talk about later. And what's his face? Alexander
The Scars.
Alexander
guy.
Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Yeah, him, the Northman. He's great.
He's in
Love him.
Succession as well.
He's
Plays a massive cunt in that
Yeah,
show.
he does. He's a little wanker. Oh,
Yeah,
he's quite thrilling though.
he's kind of a wanker in this as well.
Oh, he's just got form.
I guess.
Stereo.
Yeah, he's really
cast.
good. He's really good. I love watching him like act like an animal, which is as far as I'll go with spoilers. As long as spoiler is, I'll get. He's actually just like acting like in the Northman or like
I was just
a
about to
fucking
say the
dog or a wolf,
Northman,
and
right?
it's like fucking like a weird sort of dog creature. I don't know. What the fuck was happening? A new possessor was like probably really weird. Like it looked weird, so I was going into this being like it's probably going to be a weird one. I think these people are only doing like weird shit. Like Mia Goth is only doing weird shit. Alexander Skarsgård is only doing weird shit.
I think if you see a name like that, you'll instantly go, "Oh, right, it's going to be one of those."
Until Mia Goth is in that MCU thing she's apparently going to be in.
Shit.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
what?
She's going to be in something in the MCU. Don't know what.
Yeah. The mighty fall away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently so. My
Been
God.
called in for jury service.
Yeah.
That's basically
we
what the
go.
MCU is now.
That is
There's
true.
nobody's
Every
watching him.
actor must go to the MCU and
Then they
do their
announced today
part.
Andy Samberg's going to be in something.
Oh,
I actually hate Andy
they're
Samberg so
scraping the
much.
bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I
aren't
know.
they? Yeah. All these fucking just like, are they rich?
It's
Put them in. That's what the Infinity Pool is sort of about as well. It's like what, like the rich. I think it was all like about like class systems and like classism.
Triangle of
That's what it
sadness
seems
kind of
like,
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what sort of rich people can essentially get away with doing. And like they use this structure of like a foreign country. You don't really, I think it's like a fictional foreign country. It doesn't seem like a real place. But like what you could get up to if you had just like no inhibitions and you had all the money in the world to do whatever you wanted. How far could you stretch that? And what would be the consequences really? And if there were no consequences, how far would you push that before you essentially decided that it was way too much for you? Which is sort of the journey that Alexander Skarsgård's character goes on, where he's like forced along by Mia Goth's character, who's like a big fan of his character, and they like go through this, and he's like pushing away his girlfriend, who's like what's happening here is fucked up, and can't you see that what they're doing and what you're doing is like really weird? He's like no, and he's like slowly getting what's the word? Like indoctrinized into their sort of like rich people cult.
That sounds very cold.
Yeah, it is pretty culty. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's probably as much as I can say about it without spoiling it. It looks really nice, and like the music is very good. I remember, and just like everybody's like on form, sort of, for as weird as the movie is. You're like, yeah, these are good performances though. These are really good performances, and the direction, as I haven't seen Possessor, I don't know if that was like super well directed or whatever. Was it?
Yeah, it's actually pretty well directed. My
Yeah.
problems with that just come down to the script. I think it's
Yeah.
quite derivative.
Yeah. I thought the script was very good, like well handled. I don't think it's like amazing. I think there's like a lot that's like quite stupid about it. But because it's so like surreal and weird, it kind of lends itself to the more stupid aspects of it without making it feel like you're taken out of it. There are like weird dream sequences that go on, and you're like, oh, I guess this has happened. Yeah. Good movie. I thought I won't drone on about it. I just had a good time with Infinity Pool by Brandon Cronenberg. Go see it. I don't think you can anymore.
It'll come back.
Yeah, it'll come back.
Mm.
Get on the DVD. I get your DVDs. Excited to see what the guy does next. He's got one from me. Thanks, Brandon. I'll give it a rating. Fuck it. 7 out of 10. This is a good one. 7 Brandons out of 10.
Yeah. Big up, Brandon.
Go on, Brandon. You got it. You're in the game, baby. I like seeing movies like that in the cinema as well, because it's like really weird, and you wouldn't think that like mainstream cinemas would take a chance on like these weird, because there weren't a lot of people in this screening.
No.
I didn't see many advertisements for it, and I don't think they'd advertise it on like billboards. Not around here anyway.
No, probably not.
No, I didn't see a lot about it. Well,
You got to sort of know about it.
yeah, I
kind
think
of.
I
They
saw.
showed a
one
few
of those.
trailers in the cinema.
Yeah, I saw it on like YouTube a couple of times, but a lot of people have like ad blockers as well and
Yeah.
stuff, so they probably
It was
didn't see
weird, like,
it.
letterboxed wieners. We know all about it.
That is true. Even me, and I check the letterbox like once a week at this point.
Yeah. I know you do. It
Alarm.
upsets me.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at it actually.
It upsets me. You got like serialized that app, but you told me to get it, and I got it for like TV. And you're like, I'm gonna follow you, but you didn't. Then you don't even do anything on it. That upsets me a great deal.
There I am, logging every episode of Cheers I'm watching, and Darcy's doing nothing.
I haven't logged a single episode of anything.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever. It's just another fucking thing to keep track of, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm really bad at that.
Yeah.
You know.
You want to be like
Understandably.
watching fucking The Simpsons just for mind-numbing entertainment.
Yeah, I
You're
don't.
like, oh, I guess I'll go. I gotta log this.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't log
consciously
that.
rate this episode out of 10 or whatever.
I think I'm just
I
going to
find
stick
it
to
fun,
rating
to be fair.
seasons.
Yeah, I find it fun. I use it all the time.
Yeah.
I like going on
who
there and seeing
cares?
what's new. But then
Yeah.
people probably are like, they wouldn't want to follow me because they'd be like, oh, she's been inactive for about 6 years. And it's just, the truth is I'm just like stalking everybody else and seeing what they're watching. Like I'm on there
Yeah.
right now and seeing that Max has logged an episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I don't even know what episode this is. Like, it's no good for them just putting,
Yeah, it's
like
not good. It's not good.
putting their like a little picture up and being like, is this the one where he becomes
Well, the latest
Krusty's, like, I don't know, the one
one. Well,
that
he
just,
becomes Krusty's assistant. That's the
Oh,
last one
what?
I
And he
watched,
says,
yeah.
I didn't do it.
I didn't do it, yeah. Say the line, Bart.
Classic.
Classic meme.
Yeah.
Good one. Cool.
Speaking of classics,
Speaking of classics, we watched some movies by a certain director called Dario Argento. The man, the myth, the legend,
And a-
controversial figure,
And
Yeah.
a designer, apparently.
and designer. Designer of the Three Mothers trilogy.
star of Gaspar Noé's Vortex.
Star of... Is he?
Yeah,
Shit.
him and his wife,
Oh, man.
who's
What,
also
Dario
in-
Argento and Gaspar Noé's wife?
No, Dario Argento's wife,
Okay.
who's also in Three Mothers.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Which I found out later
Plays
on.
the ghost lady.
Gah.
The mum. Yeah.
Oh. More on that in a bit.
Which I also did when Chris told me, I went, oh.
Three Mothers trilogy, consisting of Suspiria from 1977,
Mm-hmm.
Inferno from 1980, and The Mother of Tears, The Third Mother from 2007.
Is that what it's actually called? Did I?
That's what was on the title card on the
Yeah.
movie, yeah. Yeah. So, take it away, Chris. You introduced the first one, as you are so wont to do.
Yeah, so the first one is Suspiria from 1977. The movie stars a young lady who travels, I think, to Germany.
I thought you were going to say her name then. Stars, yeah,
Jennifer
a young lady.
Harper,
a young
isn't it?
lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the actress.
Yeah, there we go.
Character has a name as well.
That's the
Susie,
only
yeah,
thing
but
I
that's
remember from
unimportant.
watching it. Susie
Susie
is it?
Bannion.
Yeah.
Susie Bannion,
I
yeah.
read the little title card at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then I was too busy doing
Well,
other shit.
Either way,
Sorry, we completely derailed you.
she goes to a dance school in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Some crazy shit's going down at this dance school.
Dancing.
Yeah, there's a lot of dancing.
Can't believe.
Things aren't as they seem. There's like a lot of weird stuff going on, like maggots appearing on the ceiling and
And murder.
murder and creepy old women with children who like shine some crystal at them.
Ah.
Yeah, some weird like.
Some crazy things are going down. She gets ill and then she tries to work out what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comes up with like this thing at the beginning, which I read all of. That was like,
Mm.
it was filmed. I'm just going to reel through this because I actually wrote it down and it'd be stupid of me not to say it. It was filmed on 35mm Eastman camera negative stock.
Yeah.
I feel like I should know what that is.
Yeah, that was at the beginning of my Blu-ray as
It's
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a type of.
I know
type
the
of film, isn't
Eastman
it?
camera is it's a film camera. Negative stock. I really should do more research into this kind of thing. Master prints for theatrical presentation were struck using Technicolor dye transfer process,
Mhm.
which you can fucking tell. Suspiria was the last feature film to be made in the regular dye transfer production chain. All prints made after the initial release were crafted using the Eastman
Mhm.
process, which has affected the intended look of the film. So we're sort of watching what the film was because they've sort of restored it.
Yeah.
There's parts that they couldn't do apparently. But yeah, I thought it's in terms of like the visuals, it's probably like the staple movie that you're like, that's how you use color. In a movie.
Definitely.
It's like so vibrant and like really bright. Which
It is
not
very bright.
something you'd equate to a horror movie, but it lends itself to the film in a really nice way because it does make it stand out like that. And like I can't really think of any other movies before this or really even after this in this genre, especially that have used color in that way to like sort of strike that. It does kind of strike a fear into you. I think it uses it in quite a weird, interesting way that sort of takes you out of reality a bit, and it's sort of taking the characters out of reality ever so slightly. It works in like just like stuff that happens to Susie where she's like, all right, well, that was a bit weird, but it's not so weird that you'd like make a comment on it. And I was like, what if this happened to me? I just wouldn't say anything about it. Like just like people will remark on something, just like run into someone in a corridor and they'll be like, oh, you, and you'll be like, okay. So,
Yeah, because
and you
I
just
feel
like sort of carry that with you and you'd be like, okay, it was pretty weird. But that's something that I wouldn't really comment on, but it would like stay with me forever.
That doesn't feel very out of the normal though, does it? Really?
No.
Because people do stupid shit all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about stuff like
She was like,
bumping
she was
people
like
in the
offered
corridor, you know.
shoes. She was like, I need to borrow some shoes, and some girl was like, oh, here, you can use my shoes. You could buy them if you want.
Okay.
She was like, no, that's all right. I don't want to buy them. And she's like, oh, okay, fine, whatever. I'd be like, okay, what? Okay. That's happened to me in like Chinese restaurants or something.
People try and sell you shoes.
Stuff like that, yeah. Or like you'll go to like a foreign country, or like people, the people who like walk up to you with like bracelets on a rack.
Yeah.
Yeah. That happens a lot in
And you
Italy.
feel like a dick when you say, I don't want a bracelet.
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Mm. I thought you meant someone was going to offer you a all-you-can-eat buffet, but you didn't want or eat any of the all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah, that was the big one. Yeah, when I got charged for an all-you-can-eat buffet because I was sitting next to people who were eating an all-you-can-eat buffet.
And
I
apparently
said, no, I didn't eat.
They don't have cameras to
yeah.
check that you didn't eat anything.
Well, I didn't. I was like, I didn't order an all-you-can-eat. And they were like, but you were sat with your friends and they had the all-you-can-eat buffet. We gave you 5 all-you-can-eat buffets. It was like, yeah, I didn't eat any of that though. They're like, well, we didn't know that. I'm like, what do you mean? So I ended up paying
calling you a liar.
£30 fucking for 2 drinks.
I would blacklist that place like so quickly.
Yep.
Never go again. But yeah, it's just
That's
stuff like
sort of
that,
what
isn't
this
it?
is like.
It's just stuff like
That's
that.
sort of what this is like. I love stuff like that.
Paying for stuff you don't even ask for.
Yeah, I hate it in real life, but when it's in movies and you're like, that's what it's like, man. It's like, yeah, it's really good stuff. I
Fun to
like
be
how they can-
relatable,
yeah.
but you also don't want it to happen, so you don't want
Yeah.
it to be relatable.
I didn't like this movie when I first saw it. I saw it a couple of years ago. I know I must have torrented it, but I really didn't like it. I thought it was really boring. But this time, well, actually, it's quite good.
Yeah.
It's a really quite a good movie, which is, it's the best one in this trilogy, I think. It does peak at the top there, but they're par for the course with these sorts of things, I think. I just really had a good time with it. It strikes that balance between like the fun of it, like and the briefness of it. It's only an hour and 40 or something. Maybe like towards the end, I thought, all right, well, they could have done like maybe a bit more with that because it just sort of ends.
Yeah.
But the journey to that is quite satisfying and like weird. You get a sense of like the world that they're in, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen it a few times now, and I always have a really good time with it. I think it's just like a really crazy, weird movie. It reminds me a little bit of David Lynch and how it just feels very, very like dreamlike.
Yeah,
That's actually one of the genres that they put this film under.
like cerebral.
It had like like it always comes up like the 3 genres that they put it under, and
3
dreamlike is the
genres.
last one. And I was
on
staring at it
Prime.
for ages.
Yeah, on Prime.
Yeah, on Prime. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like even like in the way that like characters talk to each other. It's like so like jilted and
Yeah, like no
odd.
one talks like that. It's just not natural, is it?
Good.
Yeah, I think it is good.
I don't want to see things that happen in real life. Otherwise, I just do real life.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fair
Yeah.
enough because why not? If you've got a movie, may as well exploit the non-realism of a movie, right?
I love sort of like the weird or like the horrifying introductions with like the people who are killed as well.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
It's like really fucked up. And like the music is going fucking insane. There's like a girl who gets like a glass panel that goes straight through her face, cuts her face in half.
That was cool.
What the fuck?
That girl with like the pins in her eyes, that was cool too.
Yeah.
Person who falls into the room of barbed wire. That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I think they're all pretty creative, to be honest.
I think one of my favourite like scenes in terms of like the horror stuff is the scene with the like blind man and his dog, where he's like standing there and like the music's going crazy and you think someone's gonna like come after him, and then suddenly out of nowhere his dog just turns on him and kills him. It's like just crazy, so unexpected.
You can't trust animals.
But it wasn't.
That's the moral here.
No,
right?
that's the whole. No, that's not the moral. The moral is look out for witches.
Yeah,
because they were witches, man.
Oh, they
turned
will
the
fuck
dog
you.
against him.
Yeah,
Of course.
there's not like. I'll talk about it a bit more in the remake discussion, but there's not loads of movies that do like portray witches and make them like just kind of weird or like off kilter a bit, which is really what I would want from it. I don't really want like the classic kind of witch stuff. You want like an inherent sort of evil with it if you're going to portray it in a horror movie or something like this.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very good.
Yeah, because even
The
when
way
they
don't really show,
innit?
they don't really show the witch making the dog do its little thing where it
Do
kills
its
the guy. You just sort of see like the camera POV like sort of swoop over him. You're like, whoa, that was awesome. What the hell? And he's like standing there in the middle of this sort of square when nobody's there. And you're like, oh man, she flew over him or something, or like something flew over him.
Yeah.
And the dog goes, it's fucking crazy. Kills the guy. I was like, no, that was his best friend.
I love that it's really obvious that the dog's like just eating something.
Yeah.
Like, there's like no aggression to the dog at all. He's just like casually eating something. And then it like cuts to like close up and like the dog's going crazy, like ripping his neck open. It just cuts back to his body, just like
There's like a
Just
little
eating like a
puppet
bit of chicken or
He
something.
like got
yeah.
clamped around his neck. So good. I love it. I said before to Darcy that I wrote CBBS in my notes, and I've just seen that again. I thought like the sets were really great. But a lot of them, I was like, this is like a lot of them like CBB show sets.
Oh, what, like out of like those, you know, when kids go on those? Yeah, okay,
It's
yeah,
like weird,
yeah.
like
Like Raven
story
or something.
Yeah, or like the Jungle one or whatever.
Yeah.
Jungle Run.
So yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
It
What
is
is a
good.
dance academy? That looked amazing. And like the exterior was like blood red, like
Yeah, it's so
complete-
cool.
And like the rain coming down in the first
Quite
act.
fitting, really, isn't
Oh,
it?
it's so nice to look at the whole time. There's never like a bad shot in this
No.
movie, I don't think.
There's so many like shots that are just like etched into my mind.
Yeah, same. I even think like with as weak as this trilogy gets, it's still like directed by Dario Argento, and he does have kind of a way with using sets like that.
You can tell. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
in all three of them, you could go, oh yeah, that's definitely the same geezer.
I don't know about that.
No, I don't know all three of them.
I don't know. I
two of
think
them.
it's
Certainly
I think
two
it's
of
quite
them.
obvious, but it's also like, oh yeah, like you know, the further they go on, like the weaker it the weaker it appears. But I don't know. I think there's a certain flair to it, or at least there's some sort of character. But I don't know if that's because these are supposedly like integrated somehow, so maybe that's why it seems obvious. I'm doing quotes here that people can't see me doing. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like if I'm looking at it as a trilogy, then of course I'm going to be like, yeah, these are all the same person, but I don't know.
Sort of. It's not a consistent tone throughout the trilogy.
No.
Technically.
I don't know what you're
if I
talking
could
about.
say that.
Don't know what.
Yeah.
Don't know what you mean.
Sometimes I thought like the ADR was very noticeable when they use ADR.
Yeah.
The what?
Well, it's like classic Italian filmmaking where they didn't record audio on set, so it's all dubbed.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's really weird that you mentioned that, because I was watching this, and I don't see. I don't know whether it was meant to. It is in English, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But it just looked like as if it was in a different language originally and then someone dubbed on top of it. But now that you guys have said that, it makes so much more sense.
They used to like get actors from loads of different countries because it was cheaper than having all Italian actors, I think.
Mm.
So you'd get like, they'd all like speak in their native tongue. So it would just be dubbed for whatever country it's shown in.
Yeah,
oh,
man.
okay.
So
Yeah,
you'll
no,
get
that makes
people
so
who are
much more
like
sense.
very obviously not speaking English, and then other people who it looks fine because they are speaking English.
Yeah, it just looked really weird because I was kind of like looking up and down like every now and again and being like, that person looks like they've just spoken the longest sentence in the world and they've only said like 3 words.
Yeah. How was it for you guys, like the sound mixing? Because when I watched it, it was very much like I had to keep turning it up and turning it down. If a character was speaking, I had to turn it up. The music was playing, I had to turn it down. It was
Yeah.
Do you know what?
very
Yeah,
weird
actually,
mix on there.
yeah, I had to turn it up quite a lot because I was like, are they even speaking? Like, it just
Yeah.
sounded like they were mumbling, but I think it might have just.
I switched to headphones halfway
Yeah.
through. I just couldn't take it.
That actually would have been a lot more sensible. I was only like the distance between the TV and the sofa, and I still couldn't bloody hear it, and I didn't even bother putting subtitles on because I'm stupid. But
They
yeah,
didn't have
it was quite
subtitles on.
painful.
No, that was annoying. It didn't have subtitles.
It was
Oh,
quite
really?
painful.
I did.
Did you?
But I watched it on Blu-ray. So.
Oh, well,
I
there we
didn't-
go. There we go.
I didn't. I was stupid because Chris put it on the countertop, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I need to watch that movie." And then I went, "Oh, all the effort of putting the DVD in the bloody player, and I've got to set up the controller." I was like, "I can't be asked to get on
I'll
price."
just let Bezos win this one.
Yeah, Bezos did win. He knows I'm lazy.
Do they use real maggots in the maggot scene?
They must.
It looks
have.
like it.
Yeah.
They must have.
Surely. It feels they were all wriggling.
Yeah.
They didn't fucking
don't know why
animate
they wasn't,
it.
to
They
be
didn't
honest.
animate them. They look too real from the 70s.
Yeah, I can't imagine why they would use fake ones.
They had like little animatronic maggots.
Yeah, millions.
Millions of them.
It just doesn't make sense.
I really loved the score to the movie,
Mm-hmm.
composed by Goblin.
Oh yeah, that made me laugh when I
Goblin.
saw that. I was like, oh, that's cool.
It is good.
Yeah, I think they did a great job.
I feel
I do
like
think the like theme can be a bit repetitive because they do just
Mhm.
kind of like play that same theme over and over
that's
and
how
over
it
again.
kind of
but
felt throughout the
still
whole
really
3
like it.
movies, though. To be honest, I feel like there's a certain. I can't explain what kind of type of music this is, but
That
it's
very
like
synthy kind
Yeah,
of
it's
prog
like-
rock.
it's like someone just like slammed a synth and then like maxed it up to like volume 1,000. That's what it felt like half the time, and I just felt like that was
Yeah.
like all the films had that kind of. I actually thought it was
Sort of,
kind of
yeah.
annoying, to be honest.
This one was
but-
the most egregious for it, but only because of that mix. I like the music a lot. I just if it had been mixed a bit lower, then
Yeah.
Maybe,
then it
maybe
would've
I just
been
found it
a bit
too
more tolerable,
obnoxious.
but,
Maybe.
yeah.
'Cause
And again, I don't know if
yeah.
that's like a consequence of like a remaster or whatever or a remix.
Oh yeah,
They
I'm not
fucked
gonna.
around
I'm
with
not
the
gonna
movie.
hold it against him.
I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
We
I'm-
just don't know.
I'm sure he didn't edit the movie, so I can't really blame him.
No. I'm blaming him for other stuff. Not that. What was
Yeah.
up with that freaky little boy? Why was he just
a
there?
freaky little boy.
He was just there. Like, what the hell? He was like in school clothes the whole time. I was like, don't you have to go to school? But he never was.
No, which boys don't go to school?
Children are creepy.
I think that's like
He was.
That is a thing, man. Children are creepy, especially in horror movies. They're always the worst.
Do love a creepy child in a horror movie.
But he didn't do
Mm.
anything. He was just sort
Yeah,
of
that's
there.
what makes it creepy,
Yeah.
man.
He sort of walked around a bit.
He was just chilling.
It was
doing
like that
nothing.
guy from Glass Onion. Just like-
Just does nothing.
yeah.
I like-
I think that I probably, if I had to change anything about the movie, I probably would have maybe have done a bit more in terms of like how they show or how they portrayed like the witches stuff, because it does sort of like right at the end, what I mentioned earlier, it sort of comes out of nowhere, like how full on they go with it right at the end. And Susie's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, they're witches. And they were like, to their fucking, the mother Suspirium, they were like, it was like Sharp Boy and Lava Girl, Mr. Electric, kill him! And
That actually was.
I was like, wait, what? and then
They
she was like,
amped it.
you can't kill me because I'm Susie. And then she like throws a match on something, and then she runs away, and it all explodes, and that's how they're defeated.
Yeah.
And she just
Then
walks
all you
away.
hear was
It's like, okay,
visceral screams for like I was literally just doing work, whatever, blah 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 blah, and I didn't have the remote anywhere near me, so I didn't turn it off. And for like a solid 5 minutes, all you hear is like sounds of like fire and just people going, ah! And I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore. I
like that as like an ending in a type of way.
Yeah, it was quite
I just
cool.
wish they'd have done a bit more with it or eked it out a bit, or like had some sort of dialogue.
It did end very quickly.
Her
I felt.
and the witches, Susie and the witches, because she didn't talk to them. Just
Yeah,
shit, they're witches. And just like threw like a Molotov and got the fuck out of there.
And
Like,
then
it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but also not like it doesn't make narrative sense. I don't think.
I just thought it was quite sad because you spent all this time watching a movie and then it's like, oh, okay. I was like, okay.
Like, okay, where does she go from here? She didn't. She
don't.
American.
She just goes. She just runs.
Now she's in Germany and she has nowhere to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh,
She just goes. Yeah.
Just what happens.
Yeah.
Just sleep on the streets of Germany, I guess.
Slamming it in Germ.
I think the stuff I don't really like is when the film kind of like comes to a grinding halt to kind of explore witches.
Yeah,
There's like this 10-minute sequence where she's talking to this guy and it just completely kills the pace of the movie and it's so dull.
I don't know why they kept that. I see. It just seems a bit odd.
Yeah, it brings it to a halt, but it also stops it being interesting and scary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if
like
it was scary before.
the thing is, I guess in a way, like maybe you did need to have this kind of thing that's like, oh yeah, and they're witches, but you could have just said,
think
oh,
did need.
and they're witches, and that's it. You don't have to drag
she, like,
it out.
stabbed that
for-
one ghost witch who was like doing the invisibility spell.
Yeah.
And it's like one step away from her, like just stabbing her and going, I guess crime doesn't pay, and then just walking away. Like, she might as well have done that. Why not? But I gotta love like the seat that I like all like the set stuff that they do and like all the visual effect, like the walls tearing as like the witches burn,
Yeah, it's
the
kind
walls
of cool.
just tearing themselves and shit like that. I love all that. It was really great. And it works with the sets as well. But yeah, it's just narratively a bit fumbling, I thought.
Yeah, I think you could probably cut a good 10, 15 minutes out. I think it would have probably been a lot better, a lot creepier.
Yeah. Which is weird considering the remake, but we'll get onto that.
Yeah, it's like almost an hour longer.
Yeah, geez, yeah. Oh, God. Nice.
Yeah.
We got anything more to say on Suspiria?
No.
No?
Cool.
Do
Let's rate it then.
it. At what?
What are we rating this one at, Chris?
Maggots?
Maggots.
I like maggots. Good one.
Yeah, this is a great movie. Like I said, I've seen it quite a few times now. Just, I think, a horror classic. You can tell it's quite influential. Although there's bits I don't love about it, I still always have a good time with it, and I'll definitely watch it many more times to come. Give it 8 maggots out of 10.
Very surprised to have had a good time with it this time. This time was a time where I thought, yeah, okay, this was good. Thanks, Dario, at least for this one.
Yeah, good point.
It's, I probably would watch it again, honestly. I probably would get the Blu-ray or something, because it's really, really good looking. You would hope the Blu-ray did something with the mixing, but it probably won't.
I think it might have done, but I can't really remember.
The one task I had and didn't succeed.
Yeah. Nice stuff. Good one. And a classic, probably for a reason. Like all the witch stuff. I love that kind of thing.
It's a good
That
theme,
kind
I
of that
think.
theme in movies where it's just like they do shit with magic stuff. It's so up my alley.
The occult.
The occult, yeah. 7 maggots out of 10. 7 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know. I felt like I was going to say something and then it's just all just completely left
It just
my
didn't
mind.
come out.
No, I was too busy trying to remind Max about maggots, so now it's all just gone. Fuck it, I'll just rate it 7 maggots out of 10.
7
Nice.
maggots
Out of maggots.
forever. The next one in the trilogy is bad.
From what year?
Inferno from 1980.
Do you know what? I didn't see what Max rated it, so I'm actually now gonna instantly.
No, you can just don't do that, and you can wait until I have what I have to say. Inferno, directed. This is the second one of the trilogy. It's the second mother, and it's by Dario Argento, and it's about Rose, who is a poet, and she learns the apartment that she lives in was once the house of the three mothers, which is a book that was written by some guy, but also about like his diary, I think, and his dealings with the three mothers. And she is scared, and she's like, "Oh no, just come and help me, anyone." Or like she goes to her brother, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
It's sort of about nothing.
to be honest,
just like watch this woman like run around a bit and go to
Yeah.
different places and be scared by things.
Yeah.
Is this the one with? No. I'm forgetting. Is it like? Are there like two or three women in this movie? That's like she goes into a pool and like finds a body. And then
that
goes
is
to
this.
another,
That is this one. Yeah.
and then like it goes to another woman. I think.
I only remember that
she's
happening
the main
once.
character. Yeah. There's like two main characters. Sort of. Yeah, it's bad.
It's a little bit messy.
It's
I think.
boring.
It's bad and
It
boring.
is. I actually was quite interested at first because I think that part happens like near the beginning where like falls into like this pool and there's like loads of like floating dead bodies and shit, and I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I actually thought
Yeah,
that
for
bit
what
was
it's worth,
cool,
that
yeah.
was the best part.
It was cool, yeah. And then after that is kind of like a blur for the most part. I don't remember a lot of else apart from she runs a lot in this movie and sees taxis a lot in this movie. A lot of running, just a lot of running in this movie in high heels.
I've seen this one before. I think I was like 14, 15 when I saw it. I saw it before any of his other movies, and I remember not really gelling with it that much. I remember finding it quite boring.
Just not a lot in it.
So I was looking forward to rewatching it because since then I've watched quite a few Dario Argento movies, and I do really like him. But yeah, it was not very good. I don't think it's even that terrible. I just think it doesn't really have a lot to say. I think it is kind of just like they took that 10 minutes of Suspiria that I didn't really like and made it like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's just
There's just nothing really interesting going on.
no. There wasn't really much engagement going on. Like past the what I found was that I found there was a lots of like cool visual things happening, but the actual story was so boring that I didn't care unless something was happening on screen that was cool.
Every once in a while there's like a horror set piece that like could have been really cool in a different movie, but because it's in this, it's just kind of dampened quite
It's a little
lot.
bit disappointing.
You don't really care what's going on.
There's a lot of women being murdered in this.
Yeah.
And I'm like just sitting there like,
There's
am
a
I supposed
theme
to
there,
watch this
isn't there?
weird guy directing all these women being brutally murdered? Brutally fucking murdered.
That's what he does, to be fair.
But that's fucking weird, man. What a weird bastard.
Yeah, I wonder what his
Like-
wife has to say about that. Like, Dario, what are you doing over there? Directing another woman getting murdered.
He came out of the like Italian like giallo scene, which I think like this trilogy kind of is like part of that genre, where it's like kind of like murder mysteries that are like brutally violent and like
Only to
overly
women, though.
sexual. That was like a huge thing. It is literally only to women, pretty much.
That is pretty lame, to be honest.
So I think it's less him and more like just the sort of thing, like the sort of genre he's a part of and that he came out.
I guess so, but you can turn it on his head a little bit. Why'd it have to be so many women?
Well, he's like turned it on his head by adding this supernatural sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the best.
But like that's
the best
like,
theme of it, I suppose, is like all this occult shit.
But all that shit with like killing a bunch of women, it's what stopped this movie being just dull and boring, and it makes it like actively annoying.
Oh, what? Because it's like, oh, here's another one. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Another brutal
You
murder
thought
for
this
the
woman
women.
would be okay. No.
There are some really weird bits. I was just watching it thinking,
Shove
like, there's no
this like bat through this woman's face.
yeah, like unnecessary. I think
Destroy
is the
her face
word.
entirely, and she's still going to be alive, and then we're going to stab her. Like, dude, you didn't.
Yeah. Wait, was that in this film?
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
I thought that was in the other movie.
Just horrendously decapitated. with like a window
Oh yeah, no, that was this
for no
film.
fucking reason, just to watch
Yeah, I was thinking of the
another
other
woman
film.
die.
So that actually doesn't bode very well, does it? Because now I'm getting all these movies mixed up, and I'm like, that's when you know too many women murders.
You like when like there's that one woman walking through the corridor and she like looks at her foot and she like finds some blood on her foot or like on the carpet. She like looks at the blood and she's like, blood. It reminded me of fucking Garth Marenghi.
There's a bit at the beginning where they just steal like a jump scare from Jaws. Like where she's like swimming in the water trying to find something and a dead body jumps out. It's like exactly
but that was
what
cool.
happens
That was
in
actually
Jaws.
cool. I like that. I like those bits where all these like weird and creepy like visual things were going on, and I was
just
like,
liked how they looked.
Yeah, I think it was the most interesting part of the whole movie, to be honest. And even then,
I was also thinking like, practically it's dumb as hell because it's like, okay, you like in this pool sort of place, but like you're trying to reach like a key. So why wouldn't you just concentrate on getting the key? But she like doesn't really care all that much about it, so she's like sort of half in this pool, like knocking the key about. She's like, oh no, it's like right at the bottom where before it was on like a chandelier, and now I have to go all the way in there. And you know it's just so that she could like get out of there and then run away while her clothes were dripping wet.
show off a little bit of skin.
Yeah,
Oh,
hey, I ain't complaining. I'm complaining about everything else.
I like the music in this one again. I think it was done by Keith Emerson from Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
I'll be honest, all
pretty
the
cool.
music sounds exactly the same in all
Well, yeah,
three of
it's
these
kind of
movies.
like the same sort of stuff again, like very proggy sort of stuff.
I really
thought it was vibey.
I mean I didn't mind the music as such because I was like, cool. But for some reason I found myself almost in hysterics every single time they'd be like doing all that whispering and shit. That was so funny because it happens in both of these movies and it was so funny. I don't know why I found it so funny because it was annoying. I think that's why, because it kept happening. I was like, oh, brilliant! Here we go again with the fucking whispering. I love it. Also, just laying in bed waiting for it to end.
Yeah, I was waiting for it to
I'm not
end.
gonna lie, man. These
It
movies
really drags this one.
These movies aren't very long, but they feel so much longer.
Yeah, I took a break in this one, and it's just still felt really long.
It's ridiculous. It's really not even that long. It's just over an hour and a half. How?
Yeah, I think I took a break like 20 minutes in, and it literally felt like I watched like
a whole hour.
2 hour and a half movies.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It's
although like I did like the part where they threw all the cats onto her. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I
You can
didn't
tell
like
like
the bit
just
with
like
the
people off
cat.
screen throwing cats onto her.
And there's the guy that throws all
Throw
the cats in the
bag.
lake.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
That was unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like you didn't need to do that. Why would you even do that? What's the
Viscera.
point?
The cats and witches.
Yeah,
I
but they got their revenge. Therefore,
That they
rats
did.
did.
I'm happy. Yeah.
The rats got the revenge when he got like started being eaten by rats and he like,
Yeah, that was sick.
got tripped up and his crutches fell in the water and he goes, "Rats are eating me!"
And everyone's just like, cool.
Pretty cool, to be fair.
Yeah, I actually quite like that.
I really like the super goofy shot at the end where the witch turns into a skeleton. Thought it was pretty sick.
Is that this one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
it
that
is,
was
yeah.
The last one? No.
No, the last one
Um,
had something kind of similar, but not the same.
No, I didn't like that. I was at that point where I was like, you couldn't do anything to make
To
this,
redeem this.
to make this good. Nothing you could do could make this even slightly enjoyable for me. At this point, like they've completely fucked it. So when she turns into that skeleton, I was like, okay. She just runs away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
nothing happens with it.
No.
But it's like 2
So what was
seconds
the-
where I was like,
what was
oh,
the
that's
point?
sick.
Yeah, what
Then I
was
was
the
like, okay,
point?
back to how it was before.
She was like, "We are death." Ah! And she was like, "Oh shit." So she runs away. I was like, okay, how great is this foe that she can just run away and it's like she's fine. She was fine. She could sprint away. And that's how it fucking ends. Oh, it was bad. No, it was bad.
Yeah, I think upon reflection, I definitely rated it way too high because I was just. I think it was because it was the first movie that I watched as well. I felt like there was a baseline and everything is just.
Oh no, she didn't.
It was just not
It was the
good.
guy who ran out. I forgot. Of course, because she's a woman, she had to die.
Yeah.
How did she die again?
I can't remember.
I don't know.
How she die? Probably getting
What are the other ways?
beaten to death or something.
Yeah. Gruesomely, probably,
Yeah,
is the answer to that one.
probably getting stabbed over and over or something ridiculous.
It ends like how Suspiria ends.
Yeah,
They
kind
burned
of.
down
To be
the
fair,
building.
yeah.
They all do. They all end with that.
Yeah, actually, they do. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie, I don't remember that last one, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Pretty much.
Did you like how often the word mater was in this movie? They're like scratched on the word mater onto like tables and books and that. I was just thinking
I
about
must have missed that entirely.
Cars. I was just thinking about fucking
Yeah.
mater from Cars.
Big up Mater.
Probably made you think I could just watch Cars instead. Like
Dario Argento predicted Cars.
he's a massive Cars fan.
He's the ultimate villain of the trilogy.
Yeah.
Comes out at the end. Yeah, I do. It adds some interesting ideas. Ultimately, I don't think it's like a
Yeah.
complete slog, but it does fumble a lot on the
Yeah.
delivery.
I do completely understand how someone could really enjoy this. I just don't think it's really for me.
Sort of. I just think it's a bad movie.
I just thought it was too slow. It just wasn't there for me.
I don't think anything it's saying I find particularly interesting.
I mean, I liked the premise of it. When I read it, I actually thought this was going to be the one that I enjoyed the most. When I was reading about
But
it, 'cause I was like, it's quite interesting.
Is it this one where like there's that guy with a kid who gets abducted?
No, that's the last one.
Insane. Feels like the same movie to me. Anyway,
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
These
I
two
just don't know, I
movies
don't
do
know.
merge a little
sort
bit.
of interchangeable in that way. Yeah. Okay.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that though, because I tend to have these moments almost every single time we do the podcast where I go, "Is that the one with the?" No, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ratings?
Let's
then?
rate it
Yeah,
out of
cool.
maters.
nice. Okay,
Yeah, still not a big fan of this one after rewatching it, which is a bit of a shame. I definitely think Dario Argento has so many better movies like Suspiria, or Bird with the Crystal Plumage, or Deep
Ooh.
Red, all great movies.
Mm.
But yeah, not really into this one. Give it 5 meters out of 10.
Yeah, it sucks. It's really boring. 3 maters out of 10.
oof. I originally gave it a 6, but I think upon the lack of actual
Recollection.
yeah, and to be honest, if
And
I'm not feeling love for it or hate for it, it's got to be bang in the middle. So I'm also going to give it 5 meters out of 10. No, I don't want to talk about this movie because I don't even know what this movie's about. My God, that's the longest. Do you know what? You guys are right. Remember when you said the films on Letterboxd with the longest blurbs tend to be the ones that are
Yeah.
the worst. This
No,
one's
the
quite
ones that
long.
are about nothing.
Yeah, it's just it just ends up
The
describing
longer
the
the plot
whole.
summary is, the less actually happens
Yeah.
in the movie.
Because this is like it's the whole movie, isn't it? Okay, I'm gonna have to try my hardest to try and conjure up what the hell this movie actually is.
Yeah.
So now we get on to the crux of it. The last mother, right? The third mother, even from 2007, Mother of Tears. What is it about? You
About
tell
her.
me.
Yeah, it's about her.
So there's not even a woman's name on here. I don't even know her name. Sarah, that's it. An ancient urn is found outside of Rome, and then once it's opened, it's kind of like Pandora's box. It just kind of like all these crimes start happening and shit. This woman called Sarah finds out that she's got some powers inherited from her mum or some shit, and she's got to stop all this stuff going on so the three mothers and that don't kill off Rome and everybody in it. It is
Oh, yeah.
a great movie.
Oh, I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Well, not good, but I remember it.
Yeah.
So
What the fuck happened?
I
Jeez.
don't know right. So Chris watched this movie the night before I watched it in the morning, right? And Chris went, "I am so sorry you have to watch this." And I thought, no, it can't be that bad, surely. But if Chris says it's like the worst thing ever, then I'm scared, right? Because it can either go one or two ways. It's either not as bad as he says it is, or it's just as bad as he says it is. And in fact, it was worse than what he said it was.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Do you know what the worst part about it is? I think, right, you guys know that I always complain about the length of a movie, no matter how long it is, right?
Yes.
Right. But listen, right? When I tell you this was the worst time I've ever had watching a movie that wasn't even that long, I can't even begin to tell you. I was like looking at the little fucking, what do you call it? The little spanner thing, the
spanner,
the time lapse thing, the little
time.
Yeah, I was basically looking at the duration clock. There we go. I was looking at the thing the whole time.
Yes.
Right? Every 5 minutes, I was like, oh man, it's got to have been at least 20 minutes. Like, we've got to be at least somewhat into this, right? The first time I checked it, I thought we were at least like 45 minutes in. We were 23 minutes into this movie. And I thought, I'm going to kill myself. I can't bother.
Yeah, the exact same thing happened to me about half an hour in. So I watched the rest of the movie at 1.5 times speed.
Yeah, I wish I could do that, but Chris,
I couldn't do that on my laptop.
I really wanted to do that, but Chris torrented this movie for me.
Same, so I can do that.
Yeah, you can't do that if you.
Yeah.
It depends on what you watch it on.
No, even like if I put it on my PS4, because I was watching it on a USB, I couldn't.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, there's only certain formats it works on.
I watched it like on my laptop, so I could do it on the like media player.
Oh my god, I was watching it on a media player. Oh.
This is one where I definitely don't feel bad about torrenting it because you just can't watch this movie. Same with Inferno. They're like impossible to get hold of.
Do you know why?
Like every copy's out of print.
They should be eradicated from the world, especially this one. This one needs to be eradicated from the world. Everything about this movie is shit.
Sure, but to say that it shouldn't exist, I don't know.
I do. I fall into the category
like
heavily.
Offensive or anything. It's just a bad movie. It's a bad, boring movie.
Well, let's just say I wish I had never wasted an hour and 40-ish minutes of my life. It
does not feel like it's directed by the same director as the other two. No, like the other two. Like,
I kind of felt it, but
even Inferno, that I think isn't an amazing movie, I actually feel like there was some passion put into it, and it feel like he's actually trying to do something like creative visually, at least. This doesn't feel like any passion was put into it. It doesn't feel like he gave a shit.
Creative when he showed his daughter naked in the shower.
I mean, that was interesting.
I thought there was some cool visual stuff going on, if I'm totally honest.
Apparently, that's like a common thing that he's done. Like, she's in loads of his movies and she's like naked in nearly all of them.
That's kind of weird.
Wow.
Why did I say kind of? That's like incredibly
he's
weird.
Creepy.
But like, I don't know. I liked some of the like creative stuff they were going on in this movie. But
I didn't like anything in this movie.
No, but I think maybe what it is that.
Well, like what?
The ghost mother.
The ghost mother. No, she was terrible. No, I'm talking about like
No.
No, then no. Actually, right. No, right. Hear me out. I liked the creative visual stuff, but they were really, really bad. Like at the end when that witch.
You liked it ironically, or? You liked
as an
what
idea,
they were going
like
for?
I like what they were trying to do, but the execution was shitting terrible. Like, yeah, when that fucking cool witch lady gets like splurged in half by this giant thing, and it looks so awful. But I was like, that is cool. But it just looked like shit. The whole film just looked like shit.
I didn't like anything in it.
No,
I didn't like any
I
ideas.
like that. I like those.
Because say what you will about the ghost mother.
It was funny.
She was funny.
It was funny, but it was also still not as bad as that thing in the Thor: Love and Thunder with the ghost child.
Oh
it
my
did remind me of that.
Yeah,
true. No one.
But it was even
screen,
still not as bad as that.
I agree because no one was sharing memes of the ghost mother from Mother of Tears compared to look at this kid from Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah. Everyone is bad in this as well.
Yeah, their acting is
which makes
abysmal.
it really hard to watch because they just don't believe what they're doing.
No.
It's
it just like feels so like loosely put together. It doesn't feel like
one movie.
It doesn't really feel like there was a script. It's like he was just like, okay, people stand there, just do something, I guess.
Also, did no one else find it really? Chris warned me about this when he watched it, but did no one else find it extremely hilarious when all the crimes and shit were kicking off, and this fucking woman boots this baby off the
Yeah, that
bridge,
was
and it's
really
Oh, it's
clearly
so
like
good.
a newborn
Oh, it's
doll.
so good.
I was howling.
It's like a doll. It like clips off the bridge. It smacks into the water. That was so good. It's
See,
so great.
this is what I mean. There's parts of this film that I love, but I think it's because it's so badly done. Like, it reminded me of I was saying to Chris, that bit reminded me of in Anchorman when Jack Black kicks the dog over the bridge.
Yeah. Because it's like ragdoll physics, the way it falls down. It's really funny.
You know, like how all those people were like after them, but like they get out of this like museum type place, and then there were like a bunch of people who were like after like the two main women, and then like but they get away from them like really easily, even though there's like a mob of people, and then supposedly you think if they have a hold of them, they want to like keep them or do something with them.
Apparently
But
not.
they just like shrug them off, and manage to like get into a car. They struggle with the locks, but she still gets into the car, and like not a hair on her head has been harmed,
Yeah.
either of them. And they're like, "Wow, that was a close one."
Yeah, I don't know. You can't even chalk that up to anything really. It's not. It's not really explainable.
Just really poorly conceived.
The
Yeah, I
whole
just don't
film
think they
kind
had
of
a
is, to be
plan.
honest, yeah.
I
No.
don't think they planned anything at the script. Is dog shit.
Yeah, I
If
feel
they had a
like.
script at all,
Yeah, I feel like they had an idea and just went,
like so
all right.
much of it is like
let's just go."
improvised.
Yeah,
Dario's there, just like I don't know, just do that. I guess.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was, to be honest, because as Max said before, when that guy had his son taken, and he was like, "Don't you understand? It's the occult or whatever the fuck he was saying."
Oh, he was so unfazed by his son vanishing.
Yeah.
He just sort of like sits in.
In
she
his
goes
room,
into
yeah.
She goes into the son's room, and he's sat there. His dad sat there. There's blood everywhere, and he's just like, oh, "Fucking hell, what a mess, eh? What a fucking mess." And she's like, "Wow, so is he gone?"
She seems to care more about it than he does,
Yeah.
because she's all like, "I know you love him, I do too," and then he's like doing the whole like, I don't know, Hollyoaks-esque shit, like, "But he's my son, not yours," and then
That
storms
was so
off.
fucking good. That was so good. That was so fucking funny, that line.
I like the bit where she's like reading in the library as well, like immediately afterwards. He calls her up and she's like, "What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to help you?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy just told you to fuck off, basically.
She just finds him standing in the middle of the street against a wall or something. She's like, "What are you doing out here?" He was like, "I was looking for my son." Like in that exact tone.
I like that bit where he's on the phone as well. Like the same bit where he's talking to her in the library and he's like, "Help me," and this
Yeah.
girl's just like staring at him, and I was like,
And he never gets his son back.
no,
No.
because he says in a
Is-
scene that his son's dead, basically.
Yeah,
'cause
he
he's
thinks
like,
he's dead.
yeah,
But they never show it.
yeah.
They never show anything. Like they're just like, "Yeah, well, I don't really want to focus on that anymore. So we'll do the rest of this stuff."
Oh, that was golden. It was like seemed like such a throwaway like plot as well. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this son gets kidnapped. They think he's dead. They say he's dead, so he's got to be dead, doesn't he? Like, yeah.
Why couldn't they have just been like friends? Why do they have to like? And they're like, we're in bed together and stuff. Like it was like, but what's the point? Because it doesn't lead anywhere.
'cause he's a-
and if you're doing something like that, you want to feel like they care about each other,
Yeah.
like even slightly, but they just don't.
Yeah, they
No.
seem
There's
like they kind of
no
hate each other a
chemistry
little bit, you know.
whatsoever.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling like anything towards that. It kind of felt like they didn't even really know each other. Like, at least, I don't know, at least if you had like a colleague or something, at least you're like an acquaintance with them. These just felt like two people who met in the street and went, "Oh, we got a son together or something, right?" "Yeah, I guess."
They don't have a
so,
son together.
I
It's his
guess so."
son. That's why he says, "He is my son, not yours."
That was so funny. I actually think that was one of the bits I remembered the most, because that made me go, "Oh, what a bitch."
I love the scene where she's like reading up on like the mythology of it all, or like the three mothers, and just like a bunch of like she's trying to draw connections
Yeah.
between like why are there three of everything? And what's that? And it just reminded me so much of Paranormal
Yeah.
Oh my
Activity.
god, I'm so glad you said that, because I was like, seen a lot of threes lately.
Seen a lot of threes. I've been seeing a lot of threes recently. Yeah, it was that to a T, but not as funny.
Yeah, the thing is, hearing that line and then remembering
Yeah.
that movie actually made me chuckle. And then I
Why?
remembered I was watching this movie and then I was upset again.
Why are there always three?
That was funny. I like
Like
that.
fucking Snake's delivery or something.
I don't know. It was a bit
Snake's
like
line delivery.
you know when she's reading up oh my god, she's reading she's found the diary of that guy who's worked with him and then built all these houses or whatever, and then the guy goes, "Are you sure you want to do this?" She goes, "Do I really have a choice?" And the way she says it is like
Hardcore.
oh man, she was definitely not born to be an actress, but it was golden because it actually felt really authentic, right? Because she felt I felt like she was saying that about this movie entirely, like, oh yeah, this movie is kind of God, this movie.
I mean, just sort of.
I felt it. Like
It feels like he was like looking for a reason to make another movie where he just inflicted a bunch of violence upon women
and get his daughter naked for some
Yeah.
reason.
You know, it was pretty hot. My daughter.
I think his career was kind of struggling at this point because he was
Oh, what
making a lot of
surprise.
movies that people hated, and he just wasn't really making a lot of money, I don't think.
Can't
So
see
I feel
why.
like he just made this because he was like, oh, people love those other two movies, might as well
No,
try
he
and
said
cash in.
people hate me. Let's double down.
And I think it's like universally like pretty much hated.
It's
Like,
not good.
I think even people who like the other two for the most part think that this is a really weak one.
Saying that, I
Mm.
saw a lot of reviews.
There are a lot of
saying
people
they
that do
really
like
liked
it. Does have like this small cult following,
I mean,
which I don't
yeah.
understand.
No.
No, I mean, fair play to them though, because I feel like someone's got to like it, right? Like, even the most hated movie must have at least like one fan out there.
Well, yeah, obviously.
You know? But like, I want to know your reasons. What? Not you. I mean, like, I want to get one of them on the pod and ask
Yeah.
them what the hell they
Yeah.
like about this movie, because
So
I don't get
No,
it.
no. Just write in.
Yeah.
We don't want you on the pod.
Oh yeah, good point. Just put in a comment.
it would be
or something,
horrendous.
yeah.
Send
Yeah.
it to our PO box.
I don't want to talk to anyone who likes this movie. Can you imagine what type of person they are?
Yeah, just type a message.
Yeah.
Talk
I
to
like
me
this
directly.
because-
Find me
Send
directly.
it by carrier pigeon.
Yeah.
It will find us.
I found that quite bizarre. Like, of course, yeah, that's like to your own taste, but I just want to understand what you saw that I didn't see, because I felt like I saw everything and
Yeah.
I didn't care about any.
I think on
of
the
it.
technical level, it's really, really incompetent as well. I think visually,
It's
it looks
not good.
absolutely awful.
Yeah.
The sound mixing is atrocious.
It felt
Yeah.
like a student
it-
made this.
Like, yeah, it does. It, like, at points, there's like characters talking where the like recording is so bad it reminded me of Paranormal Ascendancy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was just so much bleed from everything. Like, you could barely hear the people talking. It's like you didn't know where to put the boom mic, so we
Yeah,
just
like,
put it in the other room.
Like when I watched this movie first out of the three of them, right?
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, technically, if we're talking in a timeline, I saw Suspiria way before. But
I thought you watched Inferno first.
oh shit, yeah, no, I did watch Inferno first.
Ugh.
Well, anyway,
Darcy's lying again. on the podcast.
I'm forgetting my
Mr.
life.
Electric, kill him.
Well, I think what's actually shocked me the most was that this film looked the oldest out of all the three of them. There's something about I don't know whether it's because it looked like it was shot on a potato or I don't know, man. It just didn't look very good.
I think it's shot digitally.
It looks really
it looks
bad.
really shit.
There we go.
I don't know why
It
though,
looks
because
ugly.
this is 2007. There's no excuse for your film to look this bad with your budget, my dude. I don't know what's going on.
There's no like
What's happened?
colour in the movie either.
Yeah, it's quite bland.
Just shit DP, innit?
Yeah. Just looks
Mm.
terrible. It looks like a like straight to DVD movie.
Do you know what
Well,
you
I've
could
seen
have?
like
Was it ever in the cinema?
yeah,
Oh, it's
it got
got
a theatrical release.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of a lot of like really bad like straight to
look up the-
DVD like horror
Yeah, I'm
movies
gonna
I've
look up
watched.
the box office
Like,
for this. Now.
The Leprechaun sequels or like Wishmaster or something like
Mm.
from that sort of era. It's just low budget. That there was no effort put into it. It's literally just made because few
Have a
people
Wikipedia.
might buy it on DVD.
Mother of Tears, a supernatural movie. Right, let's see.
Apparently, it was supposed to premiere at Cannes,
Oh my god, imagine.
like as like a off competition film, but
Well-
it wasn't finished in time, so they just showed 40 minutes of random scenes,
Well, the thing is,
and it was like really poorly received by
Well,
of
everyone.
course it
I was
was.
gonna say someone must have watched this because it made back almost all of its budget.
Well, yeah, it probably cost like £2 to make.
Well, it was 3.5 million apparently, which actually isn't
Fucking
that
hell.
much, really, is it? In terms of Films,
you
is
can't
it?
see that money on the screen.
No, you
No.
definitely
Don't know where
can't.
that went.
No. But yeah, it made back 3.1. So I was like, well, obviously people did watch
Maybe
this.
this is like a money laundering scheme.
Yeah, it might be.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Maybe.
I was thinking
Yeah.
though, while I was watching it, I really don't watch a lot of shit movies. I've really not been watching shit movies.
Yeah,
recently.
to be
It
fair,
felt
I
quite
thought that.
humbling, and I felt quite. I enjoyed the experience of watching something that was this bad, because I haven't had an experience like that for a very long time.
Mm.
It was like, yeah, you sort of need like a leveler every so often to be like, oh, it can get this bad. So
It
you can
can
watch a
get this
movie,
bad.
it like sort of refreshes your palate a bit.
Yeah. I mean, like, I watched the Mario movie,
Not great.
which I'll talk
Yeah.
about at some point, and that was pretty bad, but I didn't think it was like incompetently made or anything like
what?
it did with
No,
this.
yeah. You need to watch like the complete directs of it, and this is sort of that.
Yeah.
They make like reference to, they really cinematic universe it in this one, where they actually
Yeah.
just cold mention Susie Banyan from Suspiria, and I'm like, why the fuck did you do that? What was the point? Like, it's sort of implied that these are all connected, but you don't have to say like, oh yeah, there was a girl who destroyed all the witches back in the day, and she was in the Suspiria movie.
Can I tell you something about that, actually?
No?
No, you guys are going to be amazed at how he's managed to do this,
Oh,
right?
go on then.
But both those films, right, were 3 million to make, right? Suspiria was only 1.8 million and looked so much better somehow.
Yeah. You also got to
Amazing.
remember, like, adjusting for inflation, it was probably the same sort of amount.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, yeah, this is the
Yeah.
70s, isn't it?
But it's, you know,
I'm
it's a
not
case
doing
of
that
allocating
maths.
funds
Yeah.
correctly and
Yeah,
knowing
apparently
where
he
to
cared,
spend.
cared
You can
much
make
more
a
about this.
masterpiece with no money at all, but you can also make one of the worst movies ever made with all the money in the world.
Well, we've seen that time and time again on this
Yeah.
bloody pod, haven't we?
Yeah.
So
A lot of examples.
it's quite cool.
I
Now
don't
I'm
think
looking up
money
the now I'm looking up
matters
the
really.
remake.
It's all about talent
Bloody
and
hell.
knowing what you're doing and
What happened to that
Passion,
remake?
care.
Jesus.
yeah, care.
Yeah.
What?
Huh?
Oh no, I said what the bloody hell happened with that remake? Because I'm looking at the figures on that.
What remake of
The
Mother of
Suspiria.
Tears?
No.
I was going to say.
The Mother of
Imagine.
Tears remake that thank God never happened.
Poor marketing. It's
Yeah,
an art
it-
movie, so
Mate,
people
didn't even
didn't
make
see
back
it.
half.
Then it got shat on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Not even close
Couldn't
to
even
half,
see it in
in
the cinema.
fact. Yeah.
Brilliant stuff.
They
That's
showed
actually
it a
quite
few.
sad. I know
Oh,
I
did
haven't
they?
seen it, but that's pretty
Yeah,
lame.
I mean, we'll get to that in a minute, but
Okay.
they did show it a few.
Okay.
Did they?
That's a shame.
What,
But I
like,
didn't
what,
get
a
to see it.
re-release or a, not when it came out? Sorry.
Well, I guess we'll get into it now. Yeah, they showed it there. I went to see it.
Wow.
There was a power cut at the cinema,
Oh.
so I didn't see it. It literally, like, the power cut out as the film was starting.
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to say as it was ending.
yeah.
No.
Wait a minute.
As it was starting.
Well,
I think- were you
I
with
probably
Kai?
prefer that to
Yeah.
it being halfway
That was when
through.
I lived at Edmund Road.
I think I
It's like
remember this. I think I
2018.
met you. We were at Gunwharf. Did you come?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I was at work and yeah, I remember that. The good power cut. I remember that. That was terrifying. I hated that power cut. It was gross. It was a really big one.
And that was
Went on
like
for
the
hours.
only time they were showing it when I could actually go as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
didn't get to see it till it went on Prime.
Oh my god.
Either way, that is actually, I don't know, that's actually quite fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Just reading up
Jeez.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Anything
thought,
else?
Yeah, I thought the ending was really unearned.
Yeah.
Just like how they were like, oh fuck.
I thought the very
let's
ending was
escape. Like,
funny.
it was just like nothing, and she was like, I got her tunic off of her. She like gets like this pole, and like takes the tunic off of the witch's body. It was like her magic tunic that channels her power,
Yeah.
and then she's like, no, my tunic, and then throws it into the fire, and she's like,
Yeah.
no, and then like an earthquake happens, and a massive spike comes through the wall and goes
Impales
straight
her, it's
through the witch. It was like, okay, that I guess that happened. And then like they were like running through miles of shit, literal shit to get out. And they get out, and they just like they really want it to be really triumphant, so they just like start laughing. We did it! Ah, yeah,
Yeah,
but
that-
it's so unearned. It's just like nothing happened.
I just thought that last bit was quite weird. I don't know. But then again, the whole
Yeah.
film was pretty very weird.
I mean,
so
even
I don't
Suspiria
know.
didn't feel triumphant at the ending because it ended so
Abruptly.
abruptly.
Yeah,
But
why
this
did they
one
have
was-
to do that? They just could have just not
Yeah.
done that. She could have just got impaled by this giant log or whatever, and they could have just done that bang, bang, bang music, and that would have been it. That would have been perfect. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would have been the piece de resistance to this one. Would have been amazing. Yeah, bad stuff. Let's rate it.
What are we going to rate it out of?
Let's rate it out of
Ghost Mothers.
Ghost Mothers.
Ghost Mothers.
Yeah, I kind of hated this movie.
Sorry.
I used to watch a lot of like really shit horror movies when I was like making a lot of horror related content on YouTube, and it was like definitely a throwback to some of the really bad like straight to DVD sequels that I used to watch. So I think because of that, it was just like kind of like trauma. It's like bringing back traumatic events. So I think I hated it even more because of that. Yeah, I give it like 1 Ghost Mother out of 10. It was pretty fucking awful.
Yeah, it's bad. I also like the line, "Your weakness is your strength, father." It's like, what do you mean?
What kind of Lion King-esque shit is that all about?
Means the opposite of what you think it means. Bad stuff, man. Really, just the dregs of horror. Love it. 2 Ghost Mothers out of 10.
And that is all. 1 Ghost Mother out of 10.
Sick.
I don't know if I even gave it. I think I gave it 2 actually, but for continuity, I'm now going to just say 1.
Yeah. So we were going to cap this off with a little discussion about the remake of Suspiria.
Yeah. And it will be little because I haven't seen it in like 3 years and Darcy hasn't seen it.
Yeah, I was the only one who watched it for the podcast. I watched it last night. It's a very long movie, 2.5 hours, as we said.
That's why I didn't rewatch it. It was just so long, I just didn't get a chance.
I wouldn't have had the chance to watch it today.
I say that I watched Once Upon a Time in America on like Saturday, and that was like 4 hours, so I could have watched this instead. But
right.
Yeah, your priorities are out of whack, son.
No, I think you just live and you don't learn.
That is the
You've done
truth.
shit like this over and over again.
Good movie though.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize it was this long until like I checked the time while I was watching it, and I double billed this with Mother of Tears. So I was like, oh shit, this is really long. But I did have enough time eventually. So that's good. This one came out in 2018. It's directed by Luca Guadagnino. A great fucking director.
Yeah. Bones and All, Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah, I love
Great
on the Blu-ray of this. I've got the Blu-ray. It says from the director of Call Me By Your Name.
Like, how could you say no, right?
Oh, I like that one. Let's watch this one.
Even though it's like probably not in the same sort of vein.
Yeah, as we said, chat onto Amazon Prime.
Bit of a shame.
Kind of. Yeah, definitely a weird one. It's based on like the screenplay from the original by Dario Argento and the other guy, and it sort of takes that and expands it a lot. It adds a lot more elements to it. Where Suspiria was very colourful and vibrant, this remake is very much the opposite.
Yeah, it's like very like browny grey,
very desaturated,
very drab.
It's set in. Well, I think that first one was set in just Germany. This one's set in Berlin. They make a point of saying it was set in divided Berlin. So there's like a civil war going on in the background.
Yeah.
It sort of lends itself to how the characters feel and how they act in the movie. And it is still set at a dance academy. You got Susie Bannion, played by Dakota Johnson, going into the academy. And sort of things aren't right. And the witches are there. And they're like, damn, son, she's pretty good. We got to get her. And it's just about seeing how they indoctrinate her over the course of 2.5 hours to become their sort of puppet to they're doing something with like the big mother character. It's like, yeah, you got to take her and she'll get into your body or whatever, and everything's going to be all right for us witches from now on. It's really good.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It's fucking fantastic, actually. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It goes by like really quickly for me, even though it is 2.5 hours long. I just think he uses the time so well. And where that original was an hour and 44, you almost could think, well, what's the point in bloating it out with like this needless addition of like, there's like a therapist doctor character who comes in. You see a lot of this guy and this civil war that's going on in the background and stuff that sort of relates to this civil war and how the characters from the Dance Academy are embroiled in this, and how that feeds into the plot. It's still, it feels necessary to this movie.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like they gave it some thought. And like, how can we differentiate this one from the original one? It's a very different movie in that way. I think he's trying to go for something that's a bit more heady, I guess. It's just like you really should think about it a bit. And I'm just there like, this is about what it's like to be in Germany.
That's what they say, right?
So, yeah, they go in a bit harder with like the dance stuff in this one as well. Where I really wanted some like really crazy dance stuff going on in that original Suspiria movie.
Yeah,
and they do a bit of it, but in this one it's like, let's just go in. But it's so fucking creative and like really weird, janky movements and stuff they're doing with their bodies and how I love like I'm sure you remember the scene where like they basically make Susie a puppet to torture and kill another girl at the academy.
Yeah, I mean, that's like really fucking disturbing. So it's like hard to forget that scene.
One of the most horrifying scenes I've ever seen in any movie. It's so good. It's so great. What I wanted from like Suspiria, the original, was like it had that fear to it, but this like racks it up. And it's like, it's actually like these witches are like a force to be reckoned with. You are scared of them.
Yeah.
Like it is fucking terrifying what is happening in this movie. And it doesn't like shy away from showing just the brutal force of these antagonists and what they are able to do and how they use magic. And it's not like they're using like wands or whatever. It's more like psychological manipulation, invading dreams, and how they disturb these girls and make them do what they want. It's really horrible.
I think it does exactly what a remake should do, where it takes like elements of the original and does something completely new and fresh with it. Like I think when I heard it was announced, I was like, what's the point? Why is that being made? But it really does serve its own purpose entirely, whereas I think a lot of horror remakes don't really. They're literally just the same movie again, but more modern.
Yeah, it feels like those like older movies set or like from like Poland or whatever, or like Russia.
Yeah, it does feel very European.
Yeah, I wish I'd seen like more German movies from like it's set in the 70s. It feels like it's from the 70s, but it has that 2018 sort of shine to it. It doesn't take you out of the movie all that much. It probably lends itself to the movie. You're like, yeah, I'm watching a remake, but it's its own thing and it's doing what it needs to do. So in that sense, it feels really like dour and depressing. This setting is like really like it must be very hard to live in. And that's something I'm definitely more used to with those like Polish or European movies. I'm thinking of like Tarkovsky to an extent, or like Kieslowski does a lot of movies and or like Decalogue that sort of look like this. But it's really good and really good like world building and how they're able to adapt it.
Great acting as well. Obviously, Tilda Swinton's in it. She plays multiple characters and she's just fucking insane. Didn't even realise she was more than one character when I watched it till so like afterwards.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I definitely like felt like I recognised her in the old man character in this because I knew it was her. But when the first time I watched it, I was like, that's just like an old guy. And they even credit him as like another guy, just like a random made up man. So you don't know.
Yeah.
And they like cover her in like a shit ton of prosthetics to be this guy. And like a lot of the movie is about him. And you sort of towards the beginning, you don't know why they're showing him all that much. But then it's sort of revealed why he's in it as much as he is. And like it's sort of how he feeds into the plot a lot more, and it's weird to like introduce this like completely new character into it and have it fit into a movie that originally did not have him at all, or even these themes. So I guess he just wanted to go for something like, he wanted to like say something, and it feels like it's not about what Suspiria is about, even like at all. Well, not even slightly is it sort of about that. It's got like a weirdly, I don't know if I would say it's got like a feminist slant to it, but it sort of does.
Yeah,
It's
kind
sort
of.
Yeah, it's very fucked up in the way it delivers it. But it's definitely more about like that sort of power angle and the dynamics of power in certain situations or societies, and how it centers around mostly women. And towards the end, it gets like so horrendous with it. We're like, okay, why are they doing this? But I think I've not really seen Dakota Johnson in much, I don't think. I know she was in 50 Shades, but this is like such a weirdly out there performance, and she's clearly trained a lot for it because of all like the dancing she does, which is fucking sick.
Yeah, it's all great.
It's all great choreography, and it did remind me of like the OA and like all the movements they do in that show, because they're a lot of the time they're not really doing it to music. It's just like we're hearing like the breathing and fucking the primal sort of essence of dancing, that I think is like intrinsic within just people, and it's sort of about that more animalistic side to us and to women as well.
Yeah, definitely. Incredible score as well.
Oh god, yeah.
That's like the one thing I think of when I think about this movie. It's like it's done by Tom York. I think it's like one of my favorite scores, to be honest. I've listened to it so many times. He's got like a few like just proper songs like with him singing for it as well, which are all really beautiful. But it's just like does such a great job of building atmosphere and adding to the tension. It's like crazy that it's like the only film score or anything like that he's done, because it's just so good.
You should do more of this stuff. I mean,
definitely.
It makes it feel very special, I think. I love the use of like just a full-on song, like right at the end, sort of ritual scene.
Yeah.
It was like just the most horrendous shit is happening. People are exploding. It's all bathed in red. And just this like sort of calm Tom York song is playing over it, and you're like, what the fuck? And he's just singing.
Yeah.
Like, you watch this one, like the real mother come about and explode all these people's heads who didn't support her. And it's just got Tom York singing over it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think like the opening credits like has the song Suspirium, which just sounds like a Radiohead song, because it's like just all him and pianos, loads of like huge strings. But I think it does a really great job of like just setting the mood at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. There's like a whole sequence of just watching Susie's mother die, sort of. It doesn't really communicate anything in dialogue. It's all done through this score and sort of seeing these images, which are also communicated again in dream sequences, where like the witches are sort of making Susie dream things, and those are like some of the most interesting dream sequences in any movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just like flashes of different images. They just stick in my head. I remember very distinctly, I think about it a lot. It's just this one shot of like that woman sort of crawling up the door frame. Oh god, it's so fucking weird. And they really get that, like, to be interesting and scary in like truly like horrific, or like elicit some sort of fear in your audience, especially nowadays where we've sort of seen everything that we can see in a horror movie. You gotta be weird.
Yeah.
You gotta show the audience something they have no idea what they're watching. And that's a lot of what this movie is as well. Where I don't think I know absolutely everything that's going on in it. I wouldn't want to, because that takes away something when you know what you're watching and you know every detail of why they're doing things. I would prefer not to know. Yeah. You should watch this movie, Darcy, I think.
I probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to rewatch it, to be fair, because I've only seen it
Well, there
once.
you go, then.
But I will get around to it. It's just long.
It is long, yeah, but it goes by really fast.
Yeah.
If you got like a spare 2.5 hours, which I appreciate. Not everyone does.
No, not really.
Not right now.
Except for Saturday when I had spare 4 hours, apparently.
Yeah, go on then. There we go.
I'll go back in time and watch it again.
You're insane.
Yeah, as we're getting on, and sort of would like to not spoil it as much as I possibly could. I think, yeah, it's probably. I mean, it is like when I look at it, I'm like, this is like probably one of my favorite uses of like, cinematography in any movie. It's one of the best looking, and it's very strange to think that it's got quite a desaturated color palette, but they use it. It's very clean to look at. As much as it is like you're showing these horrific images, and it feels quite grimy and dirty. They use it very well, I think. Mia Goth's in the movie as well, as we
That she is.
We're doing it again with Mia Goth.
Doing weird shit again.
Doing weird stuff. Just quite. The performance is quite held back though.
Yeah.
She's not like a character that does fucking weird stuff in this. Weird shit does happen to her. I think of like the floor opening beneath her and like trapping her leg. That's like horrific.
Oh, I forgot about how that was fucked up.
So horrible. So horrible to watch it all. You gotta love like all the sets as well. The sets in the original are really bloody well done. And it's the same in this. Is also really good, and like all the set designs and set pieces are really good. I love that end dance sequence that they're doing with like the red rope tied around them.
Yeah,
it's just weird dance sequences. I thought to myself like, there's a lot of people at this performance. Like, this many people go to stuff like this? It's really weird. But I guess so. Yeah. In like a Civil War era Germany, would you go to a dance performance this strange and have this many people there? I guess so.
Yeah, guess so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just like it a lot. It's really great. It's really great stuff. And I do like the inclusion of Joseph, who's played by Tilda Swinton, this therapist character, who I didn't think initially would be of much consequence. He actually ends up being sort of like the main character in a way, and he's like lost his wife. There's such a great scene where he like finds his wife again, who he thinks has been murdered in this war, but it's like not even real. She like leads him. It's just like a ploy from the witches, where they make him hallucinate that he's found his wife again, and they just lead him to the dance academy. It's like, oh man, that's so cruel. Oh, it's so good. And then at the end of like that ritual piece, they just like kick him out like a club, like he's been kicked out of a club night. I'm like, go home, man. There's like a really and you feel like that could have ended it, but there's like an epilogue as well. It's 6 acts and an epilogue. I think that was a good way to structure the movie as well. Because it is quite long, and that sort of offsets the time as well, where you feel like there's momentum to it, and you know there's a purpose to the pace of it. There was a great scene where, like, after all that, Susie goes and visits him in bed. She basically like induces a seizure in him and like takes away his memories. And she says to him, like, we need guilt and shame, but not yours, doctor. And I was like, oh, fucking hell. That was insane. It's such a great script as well. Like, they really thought about everything in this, just every minute detail. Even like shot, they use the camera really bloody well as well. It's just like swooping stuff that just goes around. There's a shot that like sticks directly in my mind every time. I'm like, oh man, it just comes to me every so often where it's like Tilda Swinton enters the room when Susie's doing her audition. It's in this mirrored room. There's no music, but it just like fast zooms into her. I just think about that all the time. I'm like, that's such a good shot. Like it is so simple, but it's so effective. And there's like a shot where like you see Susie in the reception area, and then it zooms up to the camera sort of floats up to a mirror, and then like behind the mirror is Tilda Swinton, but like you feel like she was reflected in the mirror, but also she was behind the mirror at the same time. You can't really tell. It's like stuff like that, and it makes like the witchery stuff really interesting and cool, and just like nothing you've seen before in any movie. And Guadagnino's out here making some weird shit, man.
Yeah, he's one of the ones.
He's one of the ones. Like, he made like Call Me by Your Name. I mean, I know he made other movies before that. I would quite like to watch whatever he's done before that, to be honest. 'Cause if it's anything like these, he just seems like a fucked up guy. Like, he's got a lot to say, and he just puts weird, fucked up shit in his movies. Like, between this and Bones and all. Even like Call Me by Your Name had some just a weird, just one weird scene in there.
I think his next movie is like a Scarface remake written by the Coen brothers. Should be interesting.
Shit, yeah, it is, yeah. Oh man, that's gonna be something.
Yeah,
it's gonna be something. All right.
No, that actually sounds like really interesting, but I wouldn't expect a Scarface remake to be that interesting.
No, I wouldn't have cared at all if it were not for this movie.
Yeah,
because I know he can do something completely different and interesting with it. You would hope.
Guess we'll see.
We will see. Yeah.
Ratings?
Cool. Let's rate it. I don't know if you... Yeah, fuck it. I'll just... Yeah, are you going to rate it? Or...
Yeah, all right, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like I say, I've only seen it once, so not too fresh on it. But when I watched it last, I gave it like a 9 out of 10, so... It might go up on another watch, might go down. Guess we'll see. But I do really love it, and I do want to watch it again because I think it's a really creative, interesting, fucked up movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so good, so good. I really wish I would have been able to see it in the cinema. But
same.
2018. Yeah, feel bad for you. 2018.
You were so
I don't know if I
close.
was totally hot on cinema as a thing back then. Sort of was sort of getting into it, but didn't really know anything about Suspiria. This is one of the ones, man. I'm excited to see whatever Luca does in his directorial journey. I love the guy, man. This is so fucking good. Watch it. Just do it. 10 out of 10. Fucking love it.
Nice.
Cool. So that's that. All those and a little bit more on the Sunday Movie Marathon. We got another one to do in 2 weeks' time. We have decided to do our free-for-all recommendations once every 2 months now, as it is the first episode of the month. We'll be doing one free-for-all and then another in 2 months' time.
Yeah.
Where we all pick a movie and it doesn't matter what. So, take it away, Chris. What's your one?
Yeah, so I'm going to pick a pretty big comfort movie for me. We've talked about the director of, I think, Once, which I find a bit of a shock because we're all big fans of him. So my pick is Wes Anderson's 1998 movie Rushmore.
Wow.
Oh boy. Rush.
One of my favourites. I'm excited to watch it for like the 10 millionth time.
I think I've only seen it once.
Yeah, I've only seen it once. Rush.
And more.
Rush less?
Rush.
No. Rush more. I had two options. Didn't really know what to go for.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I could pick one that either two of us have seen and really like, or I could pick one that none of us have seen. And I think I'd probably pick one that none of us have seen, just for a little spice. It's the 2016 documentary by Kirsten Johnston called Cameraperson. Got that on DVD recently.
I've never heard of it.
Neither have I, but I like the title Cameraperson.
Okay, yeah.
It's very inclusive. I like that. Well, I again forgot about the recommendation entirely.
Yeah, you did.
Chris shuffled my watch list, and most of my watch list is pretty much films that are either out in the cinema currently or don't exist or are like memey and you can't find them anywhere. So we come to a conclusion that I'm going to pick this year's Oscar-nominated EO. We're going to watch a donkey movie. We're going to watch the donkey movie.
That'd be good. Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
Rushmore, Cameraperson and EO. Nice. Let's do it.
It's going to be a weird one.
It seems like a mixed bag.
Interesting.
To be fair,
Yeah. We're doing this one together?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
If we can.
Yeah, why not? The whole conceit of the podcast.
We'll look into it. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to
arrange a date.
Yeah.
Cool. So watch those, Rushmore, Cameraperson and EO before Next one, and you will know what we're talking about. We got social media. YouTube, The Sunday Movie Marathon. Instagram @SundayMoviePod. Twitter @SundayMoviePod. Facebook @SundayMovieMarathon. And Letterboxd @SundayMM. Capital S, capital MM. Any last words?
Thanks, Dario. Please
uh,
retire.
Thanks for at least one movie.
You're not retired?
No, he put out a movie last year. Apparently, it's actually all right.
Oh.
Well, that's all right. Yeah, don't retire, man. You got a lot more in you. Don't care what the haters
Yeah.
say.
Thanks for the
The
Killstar
movie he did
collaboration.
before that, it's like a Dracula movie, which apparently is like absolutely like god awful.
Nice. We'll have to watch that.
Yeah.
And if it's a Mother of Tears level, it should be bringing us to tears. So it should be a fun time for all.
Can't wait.
Mm.
Yeah, thanks, Dario. You sure are one of them. One of them. One of the ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
See you next time
Goodbye.
on this next episode of a little podcast we like to call a Sunday Movie Marathon.